Let's do recording. There's no lag when I record. This is better. Zoom. Believe for Zoom, I should already be recording. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start. Lower the volume there. Okay. First game we have is DJR versus Los Panda. We'll go ahead and jump into that. I can't. There it is. Review started. This is kind of normal, but generally, like, you don't make this sort of shape. It's too easy for black to like build a base here, and then like you ended up doing a 2-space to make it more efficient, because if you play here, it's too close, and then black can lean on it. So I highly recommend, like, if you want like a thick base, I would just do this, and then you can play here or play away. But when you attach, you're making black stone unnecessarily strong here. Black did this. I would not recommend this, because now when white pushes, like, you have to connect. And now this whoops, this stone here looks a little silly. In terms of like actual jumping, I would either do 2-space or a large base here. Whoops. 1 second, I've lost my keycap on my keyboard. Okay. In the actual game, we jumped in. This is fine. So the idea behind pushing like this in normal Joseki is that black isn't going to be able to play another move on the outside. So, but because black has like this influence, I would not recommend pushing an extra time, so you can do like some sort of attach or approach on the top group. But when you do it like this, and then you play here, black is more likely to push you into the wall here. The pincer is probably okay as well. And taking a large base, or not large base, approaching wide. One thing you can do is you can also attach. And this is kind of getting away from the idea that you have to block on the side, and you can block here. So what would happen is the opponent might play like this, and you can force this type of thing, and then take a large area. Okay. The other one is like you don't have to continue here. You can also play something like this, and then enter, or you can play low. Low is fine too, and play here. It leaves the ability to jump in while you get all this. One thing to consider for black is we can do stuff like this. So then white would probably clamp here. You can play here, Atari, and then take. And this just allows white to make this exchange. And this is fine for both. In the actual game, white decided to play here, black tanuki'd. Sorry, are you talking? One second. Test. I see my audio. No, it says it's working. Oh, okay. Good to know that my mic's working. So black jumps in the corner, does the same thing, but this Tanuki is actually really bad. You really need to extend the... Giving black this double Hane is very painful. And now you're just going to be crawling around forever, and then you think you're having this whole side, but in reality, black can then Tanuki to block any extra influence that you're getting here. It's not useful. So in the actual game, black crosscuts. There isn't... You're kind of nullifying the double Hana here when you do this. Like, there's no reason to make this. You should just play here. Now, yeah, so white just Tanuki'd. I don't know if I would play this. It leaves much to be desired when black cuts your shape, right? The plan might be to, ignore this, but, black is the one that can start attacking this group, right? Like you don't have a base here, and then this group here can also be attacked later. So for example, if we just do running and then black turns, black gets a nice solid corner, and these stones are in trouble, and the stones in the center are in trouble. For something like this, I would probably just lean with this group, or you can play here. Another one would be to play lower. Like, if we're going to be cut, we should play in a way where we can get a base. Okay, so black is attacking. Yeah, don't want to just recklessly push through, but I think in this case we can, simply because of the fact that, we're getting the corner here. If we respond with a Hani here, like, black is going to get thickness on the outside to attack these stones, but we also get to destroy the corner, so it's kind of like, pick your poison type of thing. We can play here, so when like this, we're split in two, but we got the corner. I really wouldn't recommend this for black. I imagine if it's going to be like this, black is happy to split with a pinwheel shape. And this gives black a lot of extra strength because, or it should be a lot of strength for black, but potentially white can split even further, right? Really depends on the strength of these two stones. Black came back to fix, but in turn, when you attach to this group, you gave white some strength here. I think you have to bite the bullet and play the empty triangle. I'm sorry to say this, but allowing your opponent to connect like this just to make make shape here is a little bit painful. Because what you did is, like, instead of the empty triangle, you're also allowing the opponent to break through, and then you have the Hani at the head of three stones, so you're a bit of trouble. So our shape is not great. We're getting kind of destroyed here. We don't need to connect here immediately as black. It is a good move. I think we can go. I can see that we're trying to play here, but I would probably try to put a little bit more pressure on white. So like if white does this, then I would come back. If white cuts immediately, then you can turn and fight this. Here we connect, but solid's pretty good. I think it's a good move. You're definitely aiming at this, which I respect. All right, so we've completely tanuki'd to the top of the board, but in this like lower right area, white has a weak group here, white has a weak group here. We should not be tanukiing when there's a hot spot. Well, there's two hot spots, right? We need to put the pressure on white. White needs to either connect back up with this group so we can continue attacking this one. And if white continues to, go out, we can ruin shape here. But we can also play in a way that gives us a bigger top, right? So we can play with something like this, and then we have a large top. White still has issues with the group on the bottom. White has some issues with the group on the right. But the goal here would be to split white. So even if we were to play something like this, right, you can still gain a wall on top and force white to live locally. We're missing a lot of pressure here because now when white just jumps out, it looks like you're putting some pressure on, but you've actually let go of the gas. White didn't answer. This is good, putting some pressure on. I like this. I might extend one more time. I don't want to give my opponent a good shape here, so I just play here and then this. The idea being, like, if you play here later, they're going to get this, which is a nice tiger mouth shape. Continuing, we played a knight's move. Our opponent got a tiger's. Probably, we're not really afraid of being cut, so I like this idea. The issue is that I don't want to give white, forcing moves. This is kind of what we're doing. Cut's probably premature. If white connects now, we're going to start attacking a little bit more. But if you cut and they connect, and then you play here, white's a little bit thicker. and they technically can make an eye here. But let's see what white does to continue this fight. Okay, white jumped. You're forced to continue surrounding that area. White pushing through, and then we broke the left, but white is connected in the center now. This position is actually pretty good for black. Maybe a little soft on the attacking, but overall, I think black played pretty solid in terms of attacking. Maybe could have not allowed white to get the first move in the center, but this position's good for black for sure. Even with white cashing a few stones here, black got a lot of points here, and a point on the top side. White might be able to break through later in endgame, but it won't be very many points. The issue here is where are white's points, right? So this area is not fully white's. Black has some pretty good endgame. There's a peep here. So if white were to just protect, there is a nasty peep with this move. So normally we'd want to play something like this, but we end up getting blocked and white just connects under. But if white tries to play the other way, then we play here, and then it's a race between. Well, if white connects, it's not a race anymore. But generally, we'd get into this position, and depending on how the end game goes, like this could be useful logi. And then you also have this peep as well. So you do something similar, but in this case, when we get here, we can cut and be a little bit better. If white tries to block here, then we can play here and then connect, which it's going to be very similar. But then it's going to be a race between these. So we have 3 inside liberties, 2 connected. White has 4, 5, 6 outside liberties with the 2 connected. So, and then there's also the Satari. So it looked like there was something, but I guess not. But nonetheless, there's this Hane, and then you can clamp later in endgame. White defended, but there's an issue here. Black is happy to just continue reducing like this, and white's not happy to have to fix here. If you fix with the bamboo, then black can just cut off. Black can just cut off these 2 stones in the corner. So this move is a little ambitious. In fact, if we really wanted to do something, you really have to kind of like ignore this and start trying to create a weak group of blacks. So maybe something like this. Probe a little bit with the moves. Otherwise, it's going to be a hard game to fight back. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up a little bit. Because I think for the most part, black plays pretty well. This is a little bit slow. Like, I would have preferred the jump as I showed earlier. We now just let white connect up. White should also bamboo here. I don't think we should have extended. Okay. This by white. This is pretty good. This is a good move. Oh, but yeah, that's troublesome. If we have to give up the stones, it's pretty nasty. You would like to play here, but black is going to be able to cut. Why aren't we playing? We should still play here. We can attack this whole thing. So white really messed up here. We definitely need to take, and then we need to figure out a way to fight this. Unfortunately, this is hard because of the shape that we have. Right? I guess if you're going to play here anyways, if you're going to give up the stones, you should just let black take and instead of forcing him to grab it. So like now if black were to take, we can then descend and say like all the points on the left are ours rather than taking here. And then when we connect, we're in an awkward position where black could actually just cut. I think black's move is fine. White's kind of just collapsing here. Blocking's pretty big, but I would still do this because we're threatening to capture everything here. Potentially, White plays something like this. How can we stop that? Maybe we don't. Maybe we just play the point game and play here, but I guess in that case, if we don't give White that move, we can block here. That's fine. Are we alive? There. Yep. White's White's pretty happy about that. Probably better not to play these moves immediately. You should wait before you're playing these ones. That's good. I would cut here. It's big. Saving the 2 stones is not. Yeah, the center stuff is small endgame, whereas like if you just play this stuff, this is big. Like, White answering all of these is pretty big. Playing this is big. Playing here is big. Finishing this after we've connected is pretty big. But the 2 stones in the center are not. So we connected here, but there's an issue with White's center. We would like to play here, and then play like this. White can play stuff like this, but there's an issue with White trying to connect everything. We can play the Atari, then connect. If they connect, we can play here. And then you can kind of see that White has this large string of stones that should die. So this is a missed opportunity for Black. Maybe there's a better sequence to do it. For example, if we play something like this, and then connect. White plays the Atari, and then if White plays like this, we're doing well because we've cut off everything. One thing that might not be super good is what if White plays like this? But that does. Oh wait, I completely forgot there's no Atari here anymore. So White's actually in trouble. White's just in trouble. Okay. Yeah, letting those stones go is really big. A missed opportunity for both players, not focusing on the fact that those stones were in trouble. Yeah. And the other thing is, this is also really big. This is just so big. Opponent's forced to play here, but we don't need to fully connect. For example, how do we do this? So we do need to fix, so probably just connect. But White's going to live with a move like this. But I think this kind of trade is going to be big, whereas well, if we're able to play here and the opponent plays like this, they're going to be able to connect up. Maybe. No, they won't. We can cut. Yeah, so this big stick is in trouble in multiple ways. Which means White really needs to play a move here. White really needs to play this move. White really needs to play here and threaten to cut through. Whereas here, Black always had the chance to attack. Oh, we got to squeeze. But we do run into this issue. Yes. You connected, but we can't play that one. Okay. But we do disconnect with this connection. That is not good. Can White squeeze here for an eye? White doesn't have to play there immediately. White can play like this. So when you play here, the Atari, even if you take or connect, either one doesn't matter. White will play here. So you don't have time to cut through, but you can play here and you're going to be giving up. You're going to be giving up these stones. So a small mistake by black. We would have to give up those stones. White connected, but white should have gone for this, because now if you play here... Oh, actually, I misspoke. The cut's actually pretty big. You're threatening to kill everything here. Right, because here, then just take, and there's no way to save these stones. I misspoke. White's always in trouble. White used to squeeze. So white got to live. There is a better way to connect here. For example, you can connect with this move. And white needs to figure out how they're going to live. Right, so now if they play here, there's no cut. You can just do a solid connection. You could also play here as well. This won't change anything. So this, black had an opportunity to end the game by killing in the center. It might have been a time thing, but very close to killing the group, right? Let's see what happened in the game. The game is going to be very close. White kind of destroyed all the territory, and they got the left side. But black should still be winning. We can check with AI says black plus 13 here, so pretty good endgame. It looks like it goes all the way. Oh, what happens here? White tries something. It looks like we misread, because, you know, we have an extra liberty here. Oh, unfortunate. It looks like there's a kill. Okay. Reading mistake. Probably because of time, but, you know, I understand it happens. Unfortunately, there isn't actually anything here. We have 2 liberties. So when we take, even if they play something like this, they can't fill in the last liberty anyways, so nothing works. It was a good game. White persevered in the end. I think the more logical thing when you're in this type of position as white, I highly recommend, you know, looking at the board. Like, your opponent played away from a situation where you have 2 weak groups. You should fix the weakest group, even if it comes at the cost of some tempo, because what'll happen is if you keep responding to your opponent, they eventually continue with the tempo against your groups, and then the game becomes really difficult, and you end up in a situation where your group in the center kind of dies, essentially. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Go ahead and review this. We have Tall Paulig, Paulig. We're gonna go with that, and Zolans. Looks like a fun game has just played. Let me disable. Okay. Fairly normal opening. I think in this particular case, I don't know if I like this move, but it's probably okay. I would recommend taking one of the open ones, because the bottom side's not really super important. If you really wanted the bottom side, you would start with, you know, something like this, where you get this large area, and then white will probably take this, and then you can take the bottom. But the direction isn't really that appealing to me. So white's going to make a relatively large area. If we want to push, I'd rather play here or just defend the side. I don't want to continue pushing from behind. This is too large. I would play here now. If you play here, it's very easy for white to, or not white, for black to just jump in, right? The shape here is disconnected. and you've created bad shape, which means it's easier for black to run in. So you're gonna have to pay later for this. Okay. Oh man, you guys are testing me in just like knowledge. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like this. We extend here, here. And if white doesn't have the ladder, white will play something like this. Going down is wrong. I believe we play this Atari. And then take. And then black needs to fix in the center. I could be wrong. I haven't played this Joseki in a while. I would just recommend playing like this. It's very simple. Easier to play. Right? Otherwise, if my opponent pincers here, I'll just jump up. And we'll play this game instead. Where I can also push my opponent and then do a wide pincer, so when they jump out, I can play elsewhere. Complicated. Don't fully know it. I think someone has AI, so we can double check. Jump. This is good. I'm gonna play here. What's the normal move here? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're doing a learning. We play this one. It wants this. Ooh, what was 10? 10 was down. So it's complicated. This is what the A wants. I thought we were gonna play the ladder, but I guess like if we don't have the ladder, it doesn't work. Usually, white would do. I think white tries something here, but I could be wrong. I'd have to open up another Joseki book to figure it out. But it looks like this was okay. I would recommend dodging it because it's complicated, but up to you. Here, maybe black knows something I don't. I kind of want to. I guess we could do this and then take the corner, so that's pretty good. This feels. Oh, that's you gotta take. You have to take. You gotta take. You gotta do something like if you play here. You can't even play here because of this. I guess you. No, you can't. It doesn't work. We die on the outside. But if you play here now, like you run into this issue. But we did force black to play a co-threat. Oh, we can't play that because if you play here now, you run into this issue. But also, you're giving black the opportunity to come back and fix their mistake. But they're not going to play there anymore because they can just play here. They don't have the ladder, so they can't cut. But I would play this and then connect. Now, like as white, you're forced to play this, and then you're giving me the opportunity to come through here. Now, there's nothing in the corner for black anymore. White's just fully alive. Even if you peep, they just connect. You may, at most, you probably have 2 co-threats. Pushing through to make issues. I think I would play here before I tried to connect. I wouldn't want to connect immediately. White's already alive, right? So the value of connecting has dropped drastically. If we were to play, say we played something like this, and then they blocked, then you would connect. But we can also play here, and then they play this. So now you have the opportunity of breaking white shape, or if they continue here, you would just continue to take the points. Now we don't have to go back and connect to D19. It's all endgame. Playing here feels a little slow, and it gives white the opportunity to play here. It does. You do have thickness, right? So you can do some sort of invasion, but because you're so thick, white's not really going to care if you connect that stone up to the living group. Which also means that white really should not be focusing on this area. Instead, white should actually be attacking the left side. Turn's fine. Probably this is slightly better. This is a little crude and it allows this cut. Even if you get this black's generally, if black plays this, they're not looking to make the cut work. They're just making the ability to break on the outside. If they were to play the double hane, it's something similar, but they're looking to break into the side with a peep. They get a little bit stronger on the outside. This does feel a little weird, but taking immediately. Is there a need to take immediately? I don't really think so. Um, I still want to play something here. Because the value that black gets by playing something like this, they still need to fix. And then you can go under and take the stone. Probably with something like this. I don't know, the capturing the one stone is really slow. Black got the very large move that I was looking at. In this case, you could probably go for something a little bit wider, just because if white plays like this, right? Like they can threaten to make this, try to make this work, but they're gonna run into issues when you're able to cut through the shape. So like we just connect. If they fix, then you can peep, and we're looking to do something like this. Unfortunately, the ladder doesn't work just yet. In that case, we can just give up the 3 stones for this. We do need to run with this group, though. Probably worth it. You can also prep it later as well. Like, you can do something like this, and then that type of thing does work. Where white does have to give up these 3 stones later. So, for example, if white jumps out trying to attack this group, we can play here first and then this one. Now, if they play like this, we can do the squeeze again. And this time, we do have the ladder. So, that's white shape is basically sus. There's a lot of Aji on the top side, and with something this strong, white's kind of forced to make not such good use of their stones in order to live. So like this type of outside is going to be good for black, and then black can focus on attaching. In the game, we let white kind of just make some solid shape. White does need to fix on the top side for eye shape. You need to connect. When with this attachment, we do need to connect. There's also we can play this way and then connect here. If black plays like this, I believe we could play this one. No, we can't. My idea would be to do something like this, but here we have to take. We've broken through, but our group is kind of in trouble when we're split. It's also just bad shape. So in this case, if we're going to play this, we have to connect, and you're going to have to suffer by allowing this type of connection to happen. So later, you can play here. If they play this one, you can connect under. If they connect, then you need to make good use of the shape here and make sure you're fully alive. But generally, giving this shape is not that bad. Black needs to kind of try to make use of the wall in order to make use of the center points. But playing like this and giving the corner, it's too much. You should play the Atari unless you're worried about black playing like this or playing here. In this case, if you're worried about this, then the Hane stuff is probably not good, right? Either play here and allow black to do something else, or allow black to push. But black black can't really follow this up because you should be able to attack. In the actual game, we let black have the corner, and now our group is in trouble in the bottom left, which is an issue. So he took the corner. We're trying to take all the small points. I don't know if we're feeling behind or something, but giving this corner is huge, and then taking the corner is also a loss. Because now our 2 stones here are hurt. Black is a little bit thicker. We probably do need to make this exchange just to be a little bit thicker. We drop down. Black Honade. Hane really wasn't necessary. I would have just played here. Because what you've done with the Hane is you've removed a co-threat. Later you can push through for a co-threat. I see black is really trying here. But it might have been better to do something like this. So now if they connect, you can connect under, and then like you're fully alive. You don't have to worry about anything. You can also attach on top, so if they play here, you don't care because they can't actually take the 1 stone. You can play here again and again, so like they're done for with this. If they play here, again, very similar. If they play here, we can take. If they play this one, we just play here. So nothing to worry about. There's also like if they don't answer, you can still just connect, right? If they play here, now you attach on top, and you can still fight this. But like this, you're giving white the opportunity to break your shape. And now white is going to be getting good shape here. We're kind of falling apart, right? We made one bad decision, and then we're continuing to make not so good decisions. At this point, like when you're this thick across the board, you should not give your opponent the ability to use your weaknesses. You should fix the weaknesses. Also, you can just connect here now. One second, let me take a sip. I'm a little parched. If you fix your weaknesses, it's very hard for the opponent to come back. With these weak stones, right here, white needs to focus on fixing those. But they have also just give us. They also gave us a stone here as well. So if white starts running with this group, we can then swallow this 1 stone by forcing white to, answer these. And once you've swallowed the 1 stone in a large way, this is very, very big. I think black is winning by a lot. No, it's white plus 8. I am completely wrong. Top side is a lot bigger than I thought. Let's see, what's... I misevaluated, so if it's white plus 8, what is it here, right? It's an even game. So black needs to basically attack, essentially. So we're probably better to just play here. Don't just connect underneath. That's fine. But this way, like, you played here, and white's going to be able to... I didn't click anything. What happened? White is able to take this Panuki, and, like, you might be able to come back and take these. But white attacking these... Well, I guess you can still connect under, right? So white would need to play something like this. Okay. Continuing the game, we kicked, and we jumped in the center. Yeah, unfortunately we need to play here. We don't have any threats that are worth it. You get to take the 1 stone maybe, or if the opponent wants, they can just connect here. By connecting here leads to these stones dying. So we just give up these stones, play the Atari, and then these stones are in trouble. There's also, like, we do need to connect underneath, so maybe just connect first and force white to play here and then connect. There is a small chance that your opponent will try and do something like this to attack. In which case, you have 2 weak groups that you need to manage. and the game has become difficult. This is very, very difficult for black. We can probably take once. Oh, this is very troublesome. You probably want to just play something here, because if they take, you can just block. And if they come out, you can take this turn. So now, like, they play here and you block. If they play that one, we can potentially connect, or we can just extend. If they extend, then we can come back and connect and threaten. With something like this, they jump out, we can fix. So it'd be live on both sides, and then white needs to jump out with this group. Whereas here, it kind of just looks like white's kind of breaking through. The question is, do we actually need to play this Atari? Like, what if we play something here, right? Play this Atari. What does white get if they take? So if they try playing this, they're going to get this Atari. But then, do they need to fix a stone here? And it looks like it won't be a ko. So white's in a bit of trouble. White needs to be a little bit more fancy with something like this. And then here, with this Atari, it's a little troublesome. Very tough position. So I can't blame you for trying to break through. I would probably connect. I don't want to give my opponent a free Atari when I haven't played here. Like, if they play this way, and they try to cut through, I don't care about the two stones. I care about cutting this and attacking the center. So you should kind of like define the goal, right? Like we're playing on top of white here, so like we need to understand what we're trying to get through this. And right now our shape is not great, right? But our opponent is not being able to capitalize on it. So one thing we can do is we can just play the Atari directly, and then we can connect. We have the ladder, and we also have this Atari. So if like white tries to play this way, we're killing the bottom left, right? Or we're killing the stones on the right side. Whereas white has kind of like these floating stones that aren't really doing much, so there's a chance that white just connects. And then we have the upper hand in this position, where even if they were to try and play here and break through, um, we can potentially give up these stones if it means we're taking these ones, right? Very tough position. Even I'm not 100. I'm not 100% sure on how we navigate this position. That's good. I So this is an opportunity. Like you have here, you don't have to take immediately. So like if we play here, right, and they take, we take. They can't connect. Because we don't need to. We don't need to fix immediately. Right? Like if you play here, they need to bring the one stone out, but then we can play here. If they try playing this, let me think. Here, connect. If they connect, we go back to capturing. If they play this one, we can just capture. Where in this particular case, we can just play this one. So we can play the tiger's mouth here, and white needs to do something with the 10 stone, right? If we want to go further, you could play. You could technically play this Atari and then extend. If you're really not worried about saving the bottom stones immediately. That's not right. If you're not worried about capturing the center stones, right? Like you want to focus on these ones, you can change focus to playing here. Like you can literally do this. The right side group is going to have more liberties than the left side group, especially with this move. Right? The opponent needs to take, we take. If they connect, it becomes troublesome with this because we can capture these stones. So they connect, we take. Oh, actually, if they won't connect. Sorry, they'll play here. and then they need to fix. If they don't fix, let's say they play. Say they play here. Later, you can play S6, and you would gain massive endgame here. It's a very, very tough game. And it looks like black connected. Unfortunately, because white's connected, like this, your right side group is actually in a lot of trouble. If I was white, I would not focus on the center. Instead, I would have just disconnected my opponent completely. If black tries to block, we connect here. If black connects here, we just extend. And now, even with this potential, there's no way for black to live. So here, there's no eye. If just here, we can just take this, right? There's not even an eye here, right? This is half an eye, so the whole right side group dies. And black is forced to commit to taking these. It does mean that we need to figure out what we're doing with these stones. Black. No, black, you had one job. You only needed to tiger, not tigers, you only need to Kosomi. White cannot cut you. No matter what, white cannot cut you. There's nothing happening. There is one other issue that's happening. Even if you do this, right? We actually, white responded everything here. Can we play this move? If we can play this move, and we force something like this, right? This is going to be a Seki on the right side, but it means we're going to be able to capture the center. And the question now comes down to whether or not this is enough profit. We'd also need to make sure that these stones die as well. So that's going to be a big question in terms of this game. But if you play here, white does need to come back. Either they need to come back here or they need to come back to this side. This is a little bit more troublesome. How do we handle this? I think black can do something like this, but we can give up 3 stones if they take it. We can take in this center, or we save these ones. Probably. This is a tough call. This is a tough call. I'm actually not sure which one's better here. This is something counting would need to be solved. You would need to count whether these are larger, because the idea would be here, if you take, they take this, and then you can break into this side. But we already have some stones here, so if we play here, they extend, and we can play this one. So saving these stones are going to be a lot larger. And white should be winning, considering that black doesn't have a lot of territory. There's also, say for example, black plays here. There's also this, where black is also not fully alive here as well. If you play here, black can throw in for Ko, or just, yeah, black can throw in for Ko. So there's Aji on the left side. So what happens here? Oh, connection's fine. The Atari, you probably could have gotten a lot out of this, because when you take, white has to block, and then you can play here. The issue is that obviously white can attack. Also, if you take, you can just play here. Right? If white takes, we don't have enough. Both sides have 1 liberty. So, tough call. Maybe we don't play that, we just play here. We just extend. If the opponent gets to play here after taking, then we need to consider whether or not we can kill the bottom. In terms of this trade, I think white's doing a little bit better. It's like this for white. And then if black can handle capturing everything, then it's more like this for black. That's quite a few points, but white also has points here. White has points here, and white has points here. So this is a very tough position. Oh, after white gets to connect through and instead of blocking here, I think the game is over. I don't think you can come back. Technically speaking, white doesn't actually need to add any more moves. White could probably just come back and play here, and then now you're looking to play this stuff, but the reason is white's going to be able to play here, and like these stones are going to die even if white were to start here. Then white can just play this. So now white's alive on the bottom. You might have captured a few stones, but these stones are definitely dead. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next game. I spent a lot of time on that one. Apologize. So now the next game should be Gobstomper versus WR Mungus. Okay. So this is a Joseki. Generally, what'll happen is something like this, and then you have the option of playing 6 or 5. But generally, I don't recommend extending here. I would just play this way. And then you can play something along these lines, and then play another large move. Is my key stuck? Whoops. Okay. In the actual game, black got to break through. I also don't recommend this. This has a lot of shape issues. And if you play here, you run into black just being able to play a lot of good moves. You probably have the ability to Hane here. Just because you're playing the Hane. If white tries to play here, they play the self Hane had 2 stones, so you have a lot more flexibility here, a lot more strength. If you just answer, you give white. Capturing is a little slow. We should not be doing that. Okay, so we got to cut through. This is an opportunity to play like this. Even if the opponent plays here, there's no worry in terms of capturing the stones. We won't play like this. Instead, we'll capture here, and we'll do this one. Maybe it's a little tough. Maybe we don't do this. We can just take instead. So instead, we played the Atari and then we extended, but we should just continue this way. The stones on the outside can save themselves like this. This also stops black from, if they turn, you can take the base. If they take the base, you can push. So very important to do that, not to allow the opponent to just take stones for free. Why is my mic setting adjusting itself? That's really weird. Okay. Jumping is fine. We probably want to play a little bit faster. The reason being is we're going to get surrounded like this. If we just play here, we're kind of cramped. So in this case, like maybe we should not be aiming to play on this side. Instead, we should play a large move that follows some of the thickness, right? Like any of these large moves on the bottom or on the left side would be very big. Group on top side is fine. If you wanted to invade, that's also a possibility. So you have something like this, and this would be Joseki. This is a little bit greedy. There's no reason to play this way. Even if you were able to connect under, you're hurting the outside. Instead, you should just focus here, and then later you can play like a kick move for Aji, but there's no value in trying to do this. You're only making white slightly more thicker. White should turn on the outside. You're in a position where you can actually start attacking the opponent, and you should, either with a jump or a turn here, but we should not play this jump for the 3 stones. They're not important. They're not the important area right now. Black has a really weak group, and we should capitalize on that. Okay. Yeah, at this point, black is kind of out in the center, but we should still kind of focus on this area. One of the reasons is first we can lean on the top group, and then we can come out. And what we're doing is we're forcing black into the center, and then we can start attacking this group, and then when we place stones on the bottom, it gets in the way of black connecting their group. Playing this way is a little greedy. Probably don't kick. A nice simple way of protecting the corner is like this. If the opponent plays here, you can play a large move on the outside. If the opponent tries to attack the group directly, then you can pincer and you would find value in this. Whereas the kick, we've made white unnecessarily strong, and white can start playing um, some pressure moves. Oh, I guess we kind of have to play this, but the shape is very suspicious. So one way that this happens is we're getting into this position where we get the corner, but white's kind of happy with this position, and they'll probably try to stop something in the center. Maybe try to stop the peep. I don't know how you do that. Maybe something like this. This is probably fine. If here, force this and then Tanuki. Peep's probably not that big of a deal. Even if we get this, I think the next step would be to continue attacking the center. But this shape, probably don't play the empty triangle either. The reason now I get to cut, so like I'll give you the corner in return for the 3 stones. If you connect, then now I'm going for all the marbles. So that's a big mistake. Really valuable move to have here. So like if we were to come out and the opponent attaches, we're perfectly okay with sacrificing 3 stones for the right side. And if the opponent connects, we just get to connect up. So like this, black is almost fully connected. We still move here, and then we need to, unfortunately, take. But we played here, and then black can just connect up. So black should be fine after their group is connected. And then black capture the stone. The way that this game is going, this wouldn't be game over. But once you get into a stronger position, um, black capturing these stones and making this really large group solid, while white kind of has all these like small territories here, right? So black is also like underneath here, so like you only have the centerpiece here, the some of the corner. It's kind of a large win because black has all of the potential, while white is stuck with relatively small territories. Um, at this point, we actually shouldn't be continuing here. Your big focus should be trying to figure out a way to split black, and you can use this Aji as well, as I said earlier. So that's going to be a big thing to continue with the game. I'm going to go fast forward. I don't have much time left. So we're attacking the group. We captured some stones on top. That's good. And we got attacked in the center. So I know this is a thing that happens a lot, but if you think you're winning, right? Like you have the ability to peep under. If you think you're winning, don't go for cuts. Just go for the solid points, right? In this position, the opponent might try taking the center points, but that means you get to take the side points. Whereas this type of move is what helps your opponent come back in games. I apologize that this game was so short. The second game had a very interesting fight on the bottom that both players were struggling to play properly. Hopefully this helped. I'll see you next week.